We have Mr. Rich Hellenbrecht. And the Creedmoor Civic. I'm sorry.
Police first, we're probably going to help them find a better site. This community has a record of doing things like that.
Hollis Hills. Floral Park. Thank you. So I want to recognize property where the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center. But I have to be honest with you, Mr. Mayor, the civic people there, the people who live there, they're good people, they're strong people, they're loud, angry people.
Yeah.
And they care very much about their community. By the way, I have to warn you.
Hell yeah.
If you want to put a big tent in a parking lot that's just not yards, feet away from the SNAP Center, our beloved seniors, then you're across the street from PS 18, little boys and girls, where they come to play every day. We'll see how long that lasts. Then you have this player field, the little boys and girls that play Little League. Then you have the YMCA. Then you have the people who live here, my co-op, 50 buildings just 3 blocks down there. You think that is the correct place to go? And by the way, don't even try this stuff with xenophobia or saying we're discriminating. We don't have a discriminatory bone in our body. I'll tell you the kind of bones we have in our body. The kind of bones, the bones that protect our family, that protect our community. Those are the bones and the backbone that we have. And we're not going anywhere until we straighten this out. Again, we don't know who these young men are. We have nothing against them personally. There's nothing to do with that. They should not be here. And I want to address the young mothers in the crowd right now. How am I doing, Curtis? I want to talk to the mothers in the crowd. And let's be honest here. Let's say you've had your routine, your children come home from school, they're young, they go out and they play. We don't know. There's an unknown factor. You have 1,000 single young men. I'm going to say that 20 times. Are you going to tell me? 17%. Are you going to? Please. Sorry, Charles. Are you going to tell me that you're going to let them go out and play under normal conditions? Here's what I think you're going to say. I think you're going to say, listen, I'm sorry. I'll drive you to your friend's house. You can play there. Then I'll pick you up. Or your friends could come to our house. I think, isn't that more the scenario? Can you see that?
Since we began these demonstrations, this is not the first. There have been 7. I've had men and women call me and say that at times they were patients in Creedmoor. Women who had postpartum depression after delivering a baby and felt suicidal. Other men who felt that they had the first symptoms of bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. I can't mention some of these men and women. They're very well-to-do. They've done well. They've lived the American dream. But there's a stigma if you were to say that you were housed in Creedmoor. No, there shouldn't be. Mental health issues are just like medical health care issues. And that's why Creedmoor is here, to help our fellow residents, our Americans who need mental health care, of which we see many roaming the streets, living in the subways and the parks. Most happen to be African American. Most are in need of mental health care. Some are veterans. Some are homeless. Some are destitute. Eric Adams, you have forsaken your own people. Kathy Hochul, you have forsaken your own people. This is the New York State Psychiatric Facility for residents of New York, for American citizens who need to be healed. And you know how many have actually returned to normal life? It's in the thousands. So make use of Creedmoor for what it was built to do. That's right. To help people with mental health care issues. Not house illegal aliens. No, not house illegal aliens. Now when I finish, some of us who have volunteered, and only those that I have spoken with before, will conduct an act of civil disobedience. Yeah! The other day, a group of your neighbors confronted the mayor respectfully as he attended the annual India Day parade.
Phil, we love you, Phil. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, Phil.
Phil Orenstein, Joe Kincannon, and many of you who are here today.
Phil, we love you, Phil.
He engaged
Hey,
you,
Joe, we love Joe too.
and you explained why this was problematic. He did not carry your message to City Hall. He walked inside to the post-parade gathering and said, you know, I'm like Gandhi. I act like Gandhi. I live like Gandhi. I want to be like Mahatma Gandhi.
What a fool.
Well, guess what? In a few minutes, Mr. Mayor, you're going to see the actions of Mahatma Gandhi, nonviolent civil disobedience in every future protest all over the city, all throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, all upstate, where they are shoving these illegal aliens against the will of the taxpayers, the law-abiding, the Americans. And then finally, think of this. You're the mayor of the people of New York City. You're here to care for the taxpayers, the law-abiding, families, women, children, the infirm, the elderly. Where did it ever say in your job description that you're to invite in the illegals as you did last August? You can't be a revisionist. We remember Governor Abbott in Texas said no mas, no mas. We're overwhelmed in Texas. He appealed first to the president, who was so stung God. I thought he maybe thought it was Abbott and Costello, Governor Abbott. He had no idea. He's that far out. And then he appealed directly to Eric Adams. He said, you're the mayor of the largest city. You call yourselves a sanctuary city. Your governor says it's a sanctuary state. Well, there's no law that says we're a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state. It's a pronouncement. It was a proclamation. It can be undone instantaneously.
Very quick announcement. If anyone from the media would like to attach their wireless microphones to our in our makeshift stage area, we do appreciate it. Keep those cameras rolling. And I'd like to play a special song for you.
We don't want them here. Get the hell out of this country. You're here illegally. Get the hell out of this country. You don't belong here. You don't belong here.
That's right.
You came here illegally. Get the hell out of my country.
Thank you. Right on.
Number one, turn
Paul and Megan will be speaking in their speech.
Do you live near this complex, this Creedmoor Psychiatric Center?
No, but my grandson plays ball in Trello.
Right.
Yeah.
And where are you coming from?
Whitestone.
Whitestone. So when you heard about this center that was going to open here a couple weeks ago, what's your thoughts?
Excuse me?
What was your thoughts when they were announced that they opened the
I didn't
center?
know what was going to happen, and I just worried that Trello, my son played ball there, my grandson plays ball there. It is wonderland for all the little kids. They walk around. It's safe, and I don't think it may not be as safe anymore if there's men walking around that are strange to the neighborhood.
You said all around is where you're
Yes, it's a wonderful place. Yeah. And the
as a Whitestone
YMCA.
resident.
Well, it will with YMCA and Prella Field. It won't be safe anymore.
Have you reached like elected officials in your area about this?
Not yet, but I will.
And what do you think of the turnout?
It's good to see. It's good to see. Well, just give us some information, because we weren't given any information, and it just happened, and everything was done already.
Can you spell your name?
JANET.
Thank you.
I live down from Creedmoor. I live down Winchester, and I'm a homeowner. I'm a member of SNAP. 30 years. 30 years.
Heard that they were going to open this migrant center. What were your thoughts?
I cried. I'm angry. This shouldn't be. The magnitude of this is overwhelming and should not happen. These are invaders. Fine. I am the product of an immigrant 100 years ago. These are invaders. The president is doing nothing and saying nothing. This is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Why is this the only town structure that does not have a curfew? Others have
Well, first of all, the sanctuary city policy is a wrong policy. It is a crime. It is against the citizens of this city and of this nation, for those states, those cities that have a sanctuary policy. It's not even a law. This needs to be pulled back.
What do you want to see
It is sad.
the speakers on the podium today discuss about, and what action would you want to see them do?
Unfortunately, their hands are very much tied, and it is a disgrace. And this mayor of ours, who is from Queens, I believe he is trying to have revenge on this borough for the evil that may have been done to him as a minority in his youth. This is a disgrace.
Anything else you want to say, ma'am?
That's it, and that's enough.
Can you spell your name and your
Whether or
organization?
not
Laura,
it's a migrant
and
or
I'm a
not,
member of SNAP.
one thing,
Thank you.
1,000.
Thank you.
And know that we will not go quietly into the night. We will continue as long as it takes.
We want you.
So I think Curtis Stilwell's gonna tie himself to the Anti Migrant house.
If you're not getting arrested, please get out of the way.
Right.
And after Trump, I don't care shit what anybody says.
Everybody kicks each other during this.
Close the border! Close the border!
This is the first of many acts of civil disobedience. Mayor, you better stop it. No more celebrities, no more tenants.
No Tent City! 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 No
the sidewalk. You will be ordered to leave the roadway and utilize the available sidewalk. If you do so, follow. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prison or transport vehicle, or resist arrest, you will be charged with additional crime. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prison or transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes. Since conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prison, or if you resist arrest, disorderly conduct. If you do not commit additional crimes. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct.
Step back so nobody gets hit by it. Everybody step back. Everybody step back. Step back. Everybody has to step back. Go back. Nobody gets hit by the car. Back it up. Come on, let's go. So there's a people who have been arrested tonight. We want Trump. We want Trump.
Can you spell your name, your position, and what do you do?
Yes, my name is Stefano, Stefano, Forte. I am a former candidate for State Senate in District 11, which encompasses Creedmoor and the surrounding areas.
Okay. And what are you doing now after running for an election?
Now I'm the campaign manager to Vicky Palladino, and I'm the executive director of the 1776.
Oh, so you're working on our city council?
Yes, on our city council campaign.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you know, Curtis Sliwa was arrested.
Yes.
Just a few moments ago. We had a few guardian angels arrested. There was also a crackhead Barney here too. She was arrested apparently too.
Yeah.
Now that this shelter opened yesterday, a day prior to its opening today, already migrants are coming here. What's your thoughts on it, and the police response to the protests, and also your reaction to this shelter opening?
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is that these shelters that are opening up throughout the city are unconscionable, and they just should not be here. I mean, we are literally steps away from a playground. It just plain and simple should not be here. If you come into this country illegally, you should be deported back. It's just that simple. In terms of what Curtis was doing here today, listen, acts of civil disobedience bring eyes to an issue, and it shows that we're not just going to sit down and lay down and let the mayor, the governor, and especially the president do this to our neighborhoods. So, at the end of the day, Curtis is out here because he really, really believes in this country, and he believes in what this country stands for, and he wants to preserve this country. So, good on Curtis.
And did you see anyone you know that was arrested besides Curtis?
I saw Curtis. I know a lot of the members of the Guardian Angels who were arrested. Phil Orenstein. of the
He was
Queens
arrested
Village
too?
Club. I got a picture of Phil Orenstein being arrested. Yes, he was arrested too. So listen, the police are doing their job. This is the protesters were doing their job. The police were doing their job. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. This is how this song and dance goes. You know. So nothing bad on the police. You know, they're doing their job. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. And what exactly, if this was to go planned, what was the exact plan of this event? Would it go towards shelter?
From what I heard, and these are all rumors, I heard that he wanted to handcuff himself to the entrance. I think that there was a mess up within the plan, and they decided to block traffic. But I actually don't know what the plan was. I think he said it on the radio a couple times. I think the original plan was to get handcuffed to the fence. But you know, Curtis, this is what Curtis is good at. This is what you want Curtis doing. He's an activist. He goes out there and he brings eyes onto an issue, and this brings eyes onto the issue.
Right. And now to the shelters, as a former state senate candidate, and now working on a city councilwoman's re-election campaign, how is this going to affect Whitestone, Bayside residents?
Oh my gosh. I mean, listen, when you bring 1,000 unvetted people, it doesn't matter, men, women, children, it doesn't matter, unvetted people into a neighborhood, there are going to be issues. So for example, in Vicky's district, in College Point, St. Agnes was turned into a migrant shelter. And what happened? There are migrants that are, from what I'm hearing, there are migrants that are sleeping on people's porches, doing tours of the neighborhood. They're going, and I've even heard reports of there being prostitution. This is unacceptable. They should not be here. We need our neighborhoods to be for citizens, not for illegal aliens that are pouring through the border. And at the end of the day, listen, the mayor takes blame. The governor takes a hell of a lot of blame. You know, the person that I was running against, Toby Stavitsky, who is doing absolutely nothing to pressure the governor to close this place down. This all lands on the president's lap, frankly. Close the border, Sleepy Joe. It's time to close the border.
And what is your city councilwoman done?
In terms of Vicky?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's... At the end of the day, the only thing that a city councilwoman can do is to make sure, number one, the commitments that the city made to her are being fulfilled. And number two, she's there 24/7, 365 days. If you go on her social media, she is non-stop. She's there all the time. And that's what you need to do. You need a city councilwoman who's going to monitor the situation, see how it progresses. And you know, listen, there have even been some tweets from the councilwoman where she said, if the mayor, you know, doesn't hold up his end of the bargain, maybe we need to get buses of our own.
And buses where?
That's a conversation that may need to be had internally, but out of the neighborhood.
And what are you going to be doing right now after the situation that took place?
I mean, I think that these protests are definitely necessary. I think that going and doing these acts of civil disobedience is incredibly necessary. Look, we do as much as we can as private citizens, and there should be no Democrat incumbent who is running unopposed next cycle for every position. Republicans, we need to come together, we need to get people out to vote, and moderate Democrats too. We need to get moderate Democrats out to vote. It starts and it ends with voting. If you get rid of these clowns in the positions that are making decisions, you change your life, you change your neighborhood.
All right, you have anything else to say? And what's your name? Spell your position, all that.
Anything else to say? I mean, we need to put Americans first. We need to seal our southern border. We need to, anybody who is caught coming into this country illegally must be deported back to their country of origin, period, end of story. My name is Stefano Forte, Stefano Forte, former state senate candidate and current campaign manager to Vicky Palladino.
And what district number is that?
She is running in District 19.
Okay, and that covers Whitestone.
That is Northeast Queens, College Point, Whitestone, Bay Terrace, Bayside, Douglas, and Lowell.
Part of Flushing?
Yes, a bit of Flushing.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
Joe, Joe, Sinisgalli, Sinisgalli.
All right, Joe. So there was this demonstration here earlier. There was a few arrests. Curtis Sliwa, the Guardian Angels, was arrested. What's your reaction to this and this migrant shelter being open on the second day already?
I think it's ridiculous because they're already wandering the streets. They're already trespassing in people's houses. They say they're already stealing from the CVS's in the neighborhood. I think it's a complete mess.
Right.
If you ask me.
And did you have an idea of what type of civil disobedience was going to happen? Or did they panic?
They were planning on locking themselves to the front gate, but I guess they decided not to.
Right. And what do you thought of this act of civil disobedience that took place?
I think it was fantastic.
And what do you thought of the police arresting Curtis Sliwa?
I think that they're trying to prove a point that this is not the neighborhood for such a place to be, with all the tents. I went to it yesterday.
And what are you going to be doing? Are you going to keep coming to these events?
Absolutely. I live 5 houses away.
Right.
I live right down the block.
And what do you thought of the police response? Do you think it was successful in leaving a message or what?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was very successful leaving a message, especially with the news coverage that we had. I mean, we haven't had news coverage like this since we started. I think that was one of the main obstacles we were trying to get over, is having news coverage.
And what are you going to be doing in the next few days and trying to spread the message out?
Waiting to see when the next rally is.
Do you have an idea of what's going to happen in the next couple of days in this center here?
No, we don't. All I know is that last night they brought 2 buses in. They brought a school bus. Late last night they brought another school bus today, and they just brought a bus now. So it's just they're going to build it up until we keep building up and get it closed.
All right. Can you spell your name and anything else you want to say?
JOESINISGALLI.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.